welcome to the great debate. Sorry for the inconvenience. We still working on these kinks. We'll get it together. We'll get it together. Anyway, I'm Rema.
And I'm Debra Coco.
Welcome to the great debate, everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Long week, man.
Was it? Was it ever?
So how was your week so far? How did it work out for you?
Girl, I am sweating and slaving in here, trying to make sure that I get everything done.
Okay.
I got like a lot of things going on in this house right now, but nothing comes before the great debate. I literally had to like in the chair.
Working up to the last minute, right?
But I'm 58, okay? On the 58, I'm like, all right, like, yo, it's rough. It's rough right now.
I know.
What's going on with you, Debra Coco?
No, I'm just saying it's been a busy week, running around a little something. Still forgetting that mask, you know what I'm saying? I got to put one in the car, put one in the bag, put one in the pocket, because I just be going out the door and I'd be like, oops, let me go back and get that mask,
I try to keep an extra one in the pocketbook, like right. Take out. I try to do that now because, like you said, when you're not out a lot, I think it becomes a little more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Than it does when you are, let's just say, I'm home a lot. So, but if I go down to the laundry room or if I go take out the garbage or if I go to the mailbox, I don't forget my mask.
Okay.
So, like, in the building, I won't forget. And I keep mine by the door so that way,
Right. I should do that. I should put a little nail and hang it up so I don't have to worry about it,
I keep it by the door so I tend not to forget as much. My keys, I got to pick up my keys. It's in the same location the mask.
Oh, okay, good. Right. That is good.
Speaking of masks, our idiot president still won't mandate masks. How you feel about that?
He won't mandate it? Is he saying why? Because I don't listen to Trump, so I can't even.
I don't listen to Trump.
Rationalize his thinking,
I don't listen to Trump, but I do watch CNN more lately now than I have been before. So I mean, his ideology is that hasn't proven that it's saving Americans versus what's going on now, and I'm just like, well, what other options do we really have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do feel like if all Americans were to mask and social distance, I don't think New York numbers were lying. Right?
Right.
We didn't do nothing special.
No, that's the regular. But then what's funny to me is I've seen some doctors post that the mask can actually harm you. I mean, I have the pros and cons to actually wearing the mask. So I don't really know. I know when I'm walking by myself or with my immediate family, I have it down because I need to get some fresh air. But when I see that I'm approaching a crowd of people or I'm going into establishments, then I make sure I put it on just for my safety and for everybody else's, just to be on the safe side. But if I'm walking by myself, I'm running to my car, I'm like, all right, I have it like, under my chin. Like if I need to do the quick swipe up, you know what I'm saying? I'm ready. Right. But, I need to get that air. I got to get that fresh air.
I definitely hate masks, but I don't want to be somewhere where people don't have them.
Right.
So it's
keep
like,
it on you.
Right. Because, like, I'm not going in a store. I can't see myself going and moving around with people not wearing masks.
Right.
So that's the reason why, even though I don't necessarily like them, I respect that because it's like, I know how I feel when somebody don't have on a mask. And yesterday I was in the supermarket and this lady felt the nerve to want to talk too much and she didn't have on a mask. And it's like, please don't ask me no question.
Right. But you're not even supposed to be able to enter.
She probably entered with one and took it off.
But I've seen people that's not actually wearing it at all.
ShopRite won't let you in without. So okay. She must have took it off because they definitely won't let you in without it. So, just like to be mindful that when you're talking to people and when you out and about, you got to give people a little bit of space. Mm-hmm. I don't think that people have been honoring that lately. The last couple of days I've been out, I just feel like people have been too close or,
Right. They have. They've been right up on you. I think everybody's like, thinking we out of the woods, right? Thinking that we're safe now. And a lot of people have that mentality. Like I've been to, even in my supermarket sometimes, I can see a group of people, they don't even have on masks. I think that there's nobody at the door checking to make sure you're wearing a mask. And I don't see nobody being turned away because they don't have one on.
So my beautician was telling me in Jamaica, they got this thing where from the time you get off the airport, not only is it doctors and everybody's around, but that at the fact that out in Jamaica, they open the door a lot for you. You're not touching doorknobs. You're not touching things as much.
Right.
And I was thinking that might work for us too. Maybe they need to incorporate that. It brings jobs, right? And it brings down contamination, because one of the problems of New York, and this is from when I worked in the hospital for so many years, when we used to do spot checks, when we used to have to like do spot checks to make sure that the different departments were doing what they needed to do, there's certain protocols. One of the protocols, is knowing what's actually the dirtiest thing when you're outside.
Right.
And it was that Metro card machine. That beat a bathroom.
Everybody touches that. Exactly. Everybody touches that.
It beat the bathroom at germs, though, Deb. And so that just made you think, like, we don't even think correctly, right? Because you think the bathroom, that's getting clean at some point. They were never cleaning those Metro things.
Well, I'm hoping now when they got that cleaning system that they started, midnight, what was it, after 1 o'clock to the wee hours of the morning, I'm hoping they keep that going, that disinfectant that they was doing in the trains, in the stations. That would be good if they keep that going.
I mean, I would agree that, at some point in time, we have got to get to a point in New York where we could come outside and our kids could go to school, and the disabled, they couldn't possibly be getting help by online schooling.
Right.
Young children, they couldn't possibly be being helped by online children.
Right.
So, like, at the end of the day, we got to do better, Debra.
I know.
If it's not a leader, then who is it going to be?
Well, they have to bring that awareness to, because we like creatures of habit, After a while, we fall right back into what we're used to. So the thing is, they need to put more signs to remind people when you're touching items. Maybe they should put more of the sanitation, the, what you call that for the hands? What's that we put on our hands to clean our hands? I can't even remember. Right. They need to put maybe some more Perel station, maybe next to the Metro card machine, and certain things that they can also do that can help us out with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's good. But I mean, we doing it day by day. We making it. Our numbers is low. Seems like our numbers are staying low. All them places we was talking about before, Atlanta, Florida, all them places where everybody was turning up. Look what's happening down there now. Right?
And it's getting sued. So what is the double jeopardy in that? I did really like Lance Bottom Keisha. I said her name totally backwards. Keisha Lance Bottom. I don't know how I got to say that backwards. I could have got money for that, right? So I actually like Keisha Lance Bottom. I thought she was a good, powerful black woman in the electoral, mix-up. And I thought what she was doing for Atlanta was good. I do think that she got sidetracked by the politics of Atlanta, right? And every state has politics. New York, we all have politics.
Yeah, that's true.
She's a politician, but the whole point of me liking her, she didn't feel like a politician. And then I felt like when this catastrophic disaster happened, she immediately went into like a politician mode. Yes, and I feel like that's when Atlanta needed you more to be personable, right?
Right.
And I just feel like she just kept digging herself a deeper hole, and now the governor's suing her, which I don't think that's right. I don't think that the governor suing the mayor is the answer to leading the people who are suffering right now.
See, I didn't see the full story behind that. I just saw that they had a beef, the mayor and the governor, right? Had a beef. So I didn't really know exactly what was the particular details behind it. So it's a part of them not getting along, not agreeing on what was the whole thing about.
Who? Lance Bottom Keisha?
Yeah.
It was about, and I keep saying her name backwards again.
And I'm like, yeah.
So she mandated Georgia. I mean, she mandated Atlanta to wear masks. Georgia, the governor of Georgia, did not. He's he's red, so right. He did not mandate Georgia to wear masks. In fact, he made it very optional. And because she would not take the mandate of Atlanta off, he said she was going against. The governor has control over.
Right.
He said she was going against what she was supposed to do, so he sued her.
Wow, isn't that something? I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Cuomo and De Blasio are not buddies. In fact, I don't even think they like each other.
I don't think so. Personally, I don't think they do.
But I don't think Cuomo would sue De Blasio.
Right. And have it public like that. I thought that was a bit crazy. Handle that behind closed doors.
And again, that's some southern shit. That's some southern shit.
It has to be.
Yeah, New York, we don't like. That's kind of weird. You gotta lead your people, right? And so fighting in house. How do you lead fighting in house?
You're supposed to show unity, and whatever else y'all gotta work out behind closed doors, y'all do that behind closed door. Y'all come up with that universal theme, and y'all work with that. But it's crazy.
I just feel like nobody knows what to do, right? Nobody knows how to get to the finish line.
Right.
When you have track meet, they say pass the baton. Or run 5 laps.
Right.
Run to the ribbon.
Right.
Right? There's
no ribbon. There's no ribbon. They just running and passing and passing and passing. They don't know what to do with it.
And it's just Trump being so stubborn because the media, you could come out tomorrow. Fuck the media. Just come out tomorrow and be like, listen. Because at this point, it's not about liking Trump and not liking Trump.
Right.
It's not about that.
Who keeps calling me? No, it's not. It's not about that.
I do feel like you do have to help the people.
Right.
And my brother Eric Farmer said a good thing. He said the governor is playing politics with the people. Well-being.
Right.
And so, to chime on what Eric is saying, I do feel like the governor's using the people of Atlanta as a pawn, and he wants to make Keisha like the example. And It's not time for any of that.
No, it's not.
Trump today, they hadn't shown the White House in the office, the Oval Office, in like a few days. So they showed it today. And he changed paintings in the Oval Office. And it's like, motherfucker, we dying out here. And you changing paintings? That's what you was doing on these days we ain't see you?
Crazy.
But he was trying to get a speech together because the media been going so savage on him.
Right, they have.
I thought, well, okay, he's trying to put a plan in action. Nobody's going to go out like that. And then he came out today and he was just like still blaming people. And I noticed that the pictures in the Oval Office was different. And I'm like, who the fuck has time? I don't have time. I ain't hang up pictures in my home that I want to put on my wall. Who the fuck is thinking about putting up pictures?
I cannot. I don't know. I think I've seen maybe one speech from Trump. He is just not somebody I go to. I feel disgusted every time I hear him open up his mouth. I don't see him speak to people properly. He doesn't answer questions. He's not direct. He's not accountable. He doesn't have, I don't have any appeal or attraction to hear anything that comes out of his mouth. So forgive me that I missed his speech and a lot of other speeches and things that he said, because I immediately change the channel when I see his face. I just think he's just a total waste of time. You know what I'm saying? I just don't give him my energy at all. So, I don't know. I mean, this whole thing, we're doing it day by day. We're going to be up to phase 3. We're about to hit phase 4. Is there another phase coming up? I seen somebody saying that come Monday, we're supposed to be hitting phase 4 of this pandemic that we're going through. So, how do you feel about that? Do you think it's too soon? Do you think that they're taking the proper precautions in regards to our safety as they opening up these channels of, for us to get back into the full swing of things?
I don't know. The verdict is out for me.
Right.
I'm each man for self.
Right.
I'm from the street. I could survive. I'm alright.
Right.
You feel me?
Right,
I put my street instincts in.
Right.
I've been good.
Right.
I've been busy. I've been happy. I've been things I ain't think I was gonna be.
Okay. Okay. That's what's up.
You see, you gotta put it in. You gotta put it in kick. Like, you know, for a while, I was stuck on stupid, drinking and doing things that was not productive day after day after day because I was going through something. I had to wake out of that. And now that I let me live, I'm like, oh, I can feel happy again.
Good.
Like I was far from that.
I'm sorry. Somebody is calling me like crazy. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
You know, I thought I was just far from that.
Look, we are all trying to deal with this the best way possible. I'm just seeking like a normal life. I know I can't rush it. I can't be too quick about it. You know, I felt like this week I took my boys to play basketball. I was like, I felt so good inside. And I'm like, we're only at the park. You know what I mean? But it's like we haven't had a chance to just go and kick back in the park where I can watch them play ball, something that they love to do that they haven't been able to do since March. So little simple things like that, it makes you a lot more appreciative of the things you can do now, right? Versus before when you could just jump up and do whatever, whenever, right?
I agree.
Yeah. I'm so grateful now for just the small things, you know?
Now let me ask you, how do you feel about the schools opening back up?
Well,
because I don't have kids in school, but you do.
Right.
And like,
and I'm a teacher,
what
so
is those conversations like?
The conversations is like this. What they're doing now, they are sending out notices to teachers to find out who wants to work in September. So I got the notice from the UFT, right, our union, asking who wants to work because they're giving the options to some teachers who are over 65 years old. If you're over 65, you can automatically apply to work from home remote. There's no questions, no nothing. You have that right. But if you have a medical condition, you can also apply to work from home. But the thing that I don't like is, like if you have a child with asthma, a child who's sick, like you cannot use like your children's illness as a reason for you to apply to stay home, which I think is unfair. Because if I'm a mother and I'm a teacher and I go and I'm around kids and I could possibly catch COVID and I bring that home to my children who have situations, or, you know, this hypothetical, I'm saying, you know, I don't think that's
so that's why I'm asking what because the conversations need to be deep in every household, and for anybody that's watching us right now. Like, those school conversations have to be deep, and you have to involve your kids in it.
Right.
It's not a decision I don't think the mother and father, the mother and grandparents should make on their own, because you see how you have a child who is not even you, and you have to think about now, I have to go back to school as well. It's not only y'all going back to school, so it's a conversation for all of us to have.
Well, I know that they're reducing the classroom sizes to maybe 10 to 12 kids, or maybe less than 15 instead of the classroom size of 25 to 30 children, which is a plus, so they can have some distancing within the classroom. There's conversation of having alternative days. Maybe students come in twice a week versus 5 days a week, and they have a rotation going on. So there's a lot of different things that's in the works, but they are leaving it up to the principal to kind of work on the master plan that fits that school, to make the suggestion and present it to the board for it to get approved. So right now, that's the stage that my school is in. They're actually trying to see how much room we have if we were to have smaller classrooms. What is our space? What is our availability? Which children would be the ones to come in on certain days? What subjects would be taught? How it would be taught? Because now we have to do a different type of teaching. Since we're not going to be in front of the classroom, in front of students every day, we're going to have to record ourselves and do videos teaching a lesson. So for the students that can't come in, they can take the lesson from home, and I would have to walk them through step by step. So that's a whole nother option. I have to record myself teaching, doing a full lesson that I would do as if I was in the classroom for those students that are only attending remotely. Isn't that interesting? All of that. So that's where it's going.
And this is not what you went to school for. This is not what you envisioned teaching was going to be like based on. So isn't it like also kind of like for teachers, I feel for them because you go to schools to learn something, and sometimes it's meaningful to be in person as opposed to, online, and it's just.
Well, some of the difficulties that I had over the summer was students with parents that really wasn't concerned about their education. So I'm dealing with a high school population. I've called parents, to speak to my students. They're like, oh, they're sleeping, or they're doing laundry, or they, I'm on the other line. I can't, you'll have to call back and speak to them. I'm talking to parents who did not really care if their children were getting their education or not. I had parents that didn't even want to be bothered.
Right.
Called them. They're like, look, I'm busy. I'm asleep. You waking me up,
Eric Farmer just said that he don't think schools should open until they have a plan A, B, and C. And I agree because with me in life, right, I always got a backup plan, and I depending on how important it is to me, I'll have 2 backup plans.
Right.
And what's more important than our children? So, going into somewhat of the topic of what we wanted to discuss tonight, which is economic growth, right? We have to start talking about this election coming and our economics. It has to be talked about whether people want to hear it, whether people want to have the conversation or not. Because at the end of the day, if we give one person a conversation to go back into the world, this podcast is meaningful. Right. And I always say that, right? It's to draw conversations with others, and that spread is almost like a virus. Mm-hmm. And we gotta start having conversations about where we're putting our money and what are we doing with our money and how our money works for us. Black people, we do not spend our money the way it needs to be spent, all of us. And we have got to change that mentality. Otherwise, we keep ourselves enslaved.
Right.
There's no freedom pill. There's no magic pill. No money is going to unslave us. Because guess what? When we get $1,200, we go buy seafood in Jordan.
Right.
So the more money you get,
right.
The more money you get, the worse you are. So if we don't start talking about economics and what we're doing with our money, I'm a 45-year-old woman. I had a conversation, shout out to my nigga Biz. He hit me this morning. We talking. He talking, I'm talking. We talking about our growth, right?
Right.
And one thing I said to him, and I said it not realizing I realized that, was that the dude now, brand new, all new, that I'm seeing, it's good on paper. Right?
Like what?
Forget everything else. But he's good on paper. And what I say about good on paper, he does the things that a grown man should do and have. And he doesn't do it for me to be impressed. He doesn't do it for me to see me.
Right.
He does it. This is the first guy that I give a compliment to every fucking day. Okay. Every day I give him a compliment. Okay. And I ain't doing it to gas him. And I ain't doing it to, I'm sweating you. And he know it's a vibe, right? But at 45, good on paper gotta be number 1, if not 2. You could grow to love somebody. You could grow to accept people's children. Mm-hmm. You could grow to accept people's families and mothers and things of that nature. Oh. But the world that we're living in today, speaking about schooling, speaking about living day to day.
Right.
You want to make sure, remember when we first were in quarantine, quarantine, and there was this big joke about, oh, people are going to be killing their spouses and people are going to be da-da-da-da-da, you know, it's going to, and domestic violence did go up. But
right, it did.
But it's about finding somebody that's, do you know what you want? A lot of women don't know what the fuck they want. Not all the men. A lot of us, we don't know what the fuck we looking for, what we trying to find, or what we need.
Right, right.
And whatever those things are, it can't be improving you. He can't do that.
Well, look, at this point in our life, we need to sit down and figure it out. You know, we need to sit down and have some real self-reflection and try to figure out what that is. If you're trying to manifest something in your life, you at least need to know what you have and what you're lacking. You know what I mean? And otherwise, for you to get it. And while you're waiting for something to come, manifesting, you got to prepare yourself for it. You got to put those steps in place.
And what you mean, Deb, by prepare yourself for it?
Prepare, like you said. If I want to be a teacher, I can't just walk into a school and say, I want to be a teacher, right? I have to go to school. I have to do research. I have to find out what I need to do to prepare myself for that role, right? And the same thing with any kind of relationship. Even if you want to be if you're single and you want to be in a relationship, what type of person are you looking for? What are you bringing? Are you bringing these same attributes into the situation that you're looking for? Keeping it balanced, right? Not everything has to be balanced down to the T, right? Because it's good to have some opposition because you may complement where somebody's lacking and vice versa. But the thing about it, if you don't have a clue of the type of energy you're trying to bring into your space, you're going to attract anything. Some things you may not want. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you need to be specific. Just like when you're shopping for a home, right? You want certain things in your home. You might want a backyard. You might want some grass. You might want 3 bedrooms instead of 2 bedrooms. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
you got to get that specific sometimes when you're asking for certain things to come into your life. Oh, my gosh. Zaya, take my phone. Sorry. This somebody's calling me. Here, take my phone, Zaya. I'm sorry, y'all.
Hello?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes, can you bring it upstairs, please?
Thank you, Eric, for that compliment.
Thank you.
You know, again, Eric said something that's really important, and you know, and it's so true. So, speaking of what he was basically piggyback on what he was saying today, you know, my guy hit me, and again, he's new. He's meeting a new me. I don't have that stressful schedule, and he's just meeting a totally different chill.
Okay.
But the weird thing is too, one, he said I was more soft, and that was off. What do you mean? I'm not hard. He's like, no, I don't, you know, but like you just seem a little more soft. And two, he was like, you know, I'm really proud of you. I'm doing some things. I'm actually moving some things. I'm on the low now because everything is a mimic now. So now I realize, you know what? Do what you do and then get the results, right? So he's involved in that. And he's a huge supporter. I mean, like, huge supporter. And so I said to him, you know, Black women, we flourish the most and we accomplish the most. And we're the best at what we do when our kings support us.
Right.
He caught I text that. And he caught me because it was like, you know, ladies, I'm saying this to say, ladies, sometimes we need to open up the dialogue with our guys just a little bit more. And I'm exploring that, right? And that's the whole point of what I'm trying to get at is like, we live in a different time. We live in a time where before you was outside and you was expecting somebody to be in your mind and understand your thoughts and be there. Now we're inside and your thoughts and processing sometimes are very closed in as well. And it just won't work that way. So we have to consciously sometimes just open up a little more and have conversations, say things we wouldn't normally say sometimes. You get what I'm saying? And I don't know what made me text that, but it opened up to a very good, productive conversation, as opposed to you coming to get me, we going out to eat, and that conversation, right? I need more. You don't know how to get it. You don't even know what more sometimes means. But it's, you know,
intellectual intimacy. You know what I'm saying? Intellectual intimacy. It's not always involving sex. It's just diving into a deeper level with an individual, having a bond, and meeting mutual, like meeting of the minds type of thing. So if you even know if you want to take it to the next level with somebody. Right now, the culture is so fast. We just jump in, we just park.
I
Like,
think
we
you're
just
slowing
parking.
down now, though.
Right. No, I'm saying definitely slow down. But before, everything was so fast. We in the clubs 3 or 4 days a week. We meeting people, we socializing, we drinking. We got all these different elements going on, and we're not really taking the time out to sit and have a conversation with people. Learning who people are, who they really about.
I think I'm one that is definitely guilty of that process. Right. And again, like I said, I'm not giving up clubs or anything like that. I'm not saying that. It's good to have the time out though.
Right.
What I won't do is I won't be pulling up to any of these curbside places if you like spending $250. I won't be giving any curbside events where my friends pull up and have to spend $250 curbside.
Right.
I'm not really the street curbside. I stay on your stoop type chick. I did that when I was 16 to 20. I'm good on that.
Right.
So I feel like that whole curbside thing vibe is a stoop thing. And I'm just not, you're not going to see me on that scene. That's just not my scene.
I mean, actually, I felt a little uncomfortable. I actually went to a restaurant last week and I sat outside. But
restaurant is different, but they're doing like parties now. Not
they
parties.
Are.
What they're doing is they're saying it's food, but then you go and it's like people that's not eating, that's not even in the restaurant. They got their chairs and they're like sitting on the side.
Oh.
Go
I don't know about that. Okay.
Go all up and down Harlem.
Yeah, I'm not down for that.
All up and down Harlem. That's a Brooklyn too. My friend called me the other day and he took a picture of his $250 bottle of Hennessy and was like, pull up on us. I said, yeah, I'm going to pull up on you with a $30 bottle of Hennessy. Like, nobody's doing it. And it's a freedom of speech. Like, you can't tell me I can't, what I can and can't do.
Right.
It's an amendment. I could have liquor if I'm of age.
Right.
So
no, I don't know. So what do you think about last week's show? How was that for you?
Last week's show was deep. Larry Davis, that was a big topic growing up in the Bronx. It's from the Bronx. And people received her pretty well. And a few people said they found out things about him that they did not know. So I definitely think it served its purpose.
That's a little recap for those who maybe tuned in tonight who didn't catch last week. Check it out. It was a good show.
Yeah.
Definitely was a good show. But tonight we're getting into this economic show.
Yes. So what we're going to be talking about tonight, and hopefully a coach can tune in with us. She's actually teaching a class now. All work, no play, people. We wanted to talk about economics and where do we feel is right to put our money. And I'm going to talk about some things where I'm putting my money. Deb's going to talk about some things where she's putting her money. You guys can actually go in live and type in where you think your money should go. And this can be a hypothetical. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have it right now. One of the things that I am real big on is policies and having money to the side. I don't know what happened now. And having money to the side. And so I always tell my girlfriend, if something ever happened to me and some guy is like, yo, I got her policy, he's a fucking liar because like he killed me. Like I will always leave my policy to my son. I'm never changing that. Right. Now having a grandson, what I've done now is I've moved some money around now. So I put some money to the side for my grandson so my son doesn't get everything. He'll still be the overseer, but I haven't done it yet because she's still early in her month. Okay. But when we get like about 8 months, I'll know what I'm doing as far as finance.
Right.
And we plan on having a baby shower, and my thing is I'll let everybody buy all that other stuff. I'm not doing strollers and all that shit. It's college funds. It's the bonds is not as wealthy as they once was. So I'm looking at stocks. And one of the things that the coach that I wanted to come on tonight, she's a slight mentor of mine. She taught me. I took a class of hers at LIU, and she taught me how to buy stocks, understand stocks, how to buy. I wouldn't even be, Riverdale was what I had a class for her, and we had to pick where we wanted to live, the taxes, how much it would cost to buy, and our future. And here I am, I own something in Riverdale. But that was my assignment in her class 7 years ago.
Okay.
I did an assignment. I picked Riverdale to be the place to move, and people in my class was like, well, why Riverdale? Because their taxes are so high. Why would you want to live there? And I'm like, because it's New York, and I want to live somewhere in New York where it's not lit. I don't want to live lit.
Right,
I have friends right now in Harlem. They're like, yo, I vested money in Harlem, and they're mad now. So that's another reason why I want to have the conversation, right? Because you can have money and not know where to put it and what to do with it.
Right, true.
What makes a business good versus what makes a business bad? What makes a good business deal versus what makes a bad business?
True.
So these are the things that I wanted to talk about today as far as moving forward. Example, people thought bonds would be a good way to go right now.
Bonds is safe. Bonds is safe. You got your fixed interest rate, after whatever amount of years you sign up on, you guaranteed to get that money.
But they got different small amount of money.
Yeah, it's very, very, very small. 3%, 2%, 5%, depending upon.
And you get 5%, you're doing good.
Right. You probably can't even find a 5%. I haven't invested in bonds. My mother, when I grew up, my mother had a bunch of bonds. She worked for MetLife.
My school, I come from
MetLife, so every birthday.
I still have MetLife, though. Don't make fun. I still got.
No, but I'm saying I was a baby. Look, she was able to retire early off of MetLife and live a good life. So I ain't saying nothing bad, But she said investing in tickets for them. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. So I grew up with the mindset of investing. And then I ended up getting a job at 28 years old working at the New York Stock Exchange. Okay. So what better place? I was there for 15 years working right above the trader floor. I used to go down and I used to work. What an experience. It was such an experience. It was before 9/11. The trader floor was open. They used to actually have a tour where the public would come in and oversee the trader floor and see all the traders and the brokers at all the different firms. Every big firm was represented on the trader floor. Right. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Before I got that job, I knew nothing about stocks and bonds, nothing. But I ended up getting a job in the tour department. And since everybody was coming in to learn, I was learning how stocks work, how money was traded all over the world, how things that we see in the news affects if a stock goes up or down. Like when you see news like there's oil spills or whatever, that affects the cost here, in the United States. So there's a lot of things overseas. A lot of people
don't understand that when they hear the stock is down, or like something that in the world affects the economy, and it's because of the stock.
The price of gas. You got to look at world events, see what's happening, see where the world is, the oil and the gas is being obtained from. If there's a war there and there's things going on, that will affect the prices that we have to deal with here in the United States.
Let me check on these pots. Hold on 1 second. You don't want to burn them.
No, but it was definitely a great experience working at the stock exchange. I learned so much. Yes, bonds are great, Tisha. Bonds are great. How y'all doing out there? Hi, Camilla. How are you? Hi, Dave. Hi, Brent. Hi, Malik. I'm giving shout outs to people. Hi, Kenya. Hi, John. Hi, Lakeem. Hi, Rob. Hi, Ricky, Ebony, and Nyesha Yates. Hi. So I just ran through giving some shout outs real quick. Mm-hmm. But I learned a lot outside of being at the stock exchange because I saw that most of the investors, number one, invested in property. Bought condos, houses. That's where their money went. They would wear the same. Some of them would wear the same suit, the same pair of sneakers. If the rubber came off, they would go and get it fixed. Okay, not like they don't have the money to buy whatever they want, but they invested in property, tangible things that had equity had equity to it, right? They didn't just go buy the latest sneakers when they came out. They didn't just go buy, a gold chain. They didn't invest that type of way. And I started noticing the differences within our culture, right? Because it's like the minute we got money, we going to Macy's, we going to Bloomingdale's, we getting us some bags, some shoes. They operated on a totally different level, right? So I was like, made me think about it. Then I started learning how the money worked, how to invest. So I immediately invested in life insurance policies. I immediately invested in college funds for my children. I immediately invested in, I thought I can no longer rent property. I need to own my property, right? Because number one, when you own your property, you get tax write-offs, you get some of that money back.
Right.
When you rent, you just pay whatever you pay every month, and you don't get nothing off of that. And I'm like, I can't see myself paying somebody $1,500 a month to live in a space, and it doesn't benefit me at all. They sitting at home watching TV, and I'm working every month. That's if you can avoid that. There's nothing wrong with paying rent. But I'm just saying, for me, the way I felt about the way my money moves, you know what I'm saying?
But that's
we're
talking about investing the money in property, right? And sometimes we have to see, I think with our culture, right? Again, this is about colored people with money. So we have to talk about our culture, and that's why I wore the t-shirt today, culture, because it's real, right? And I think in our culture, it's like, we don't want to wait and build. We want everything instantly. And so that's another reason why I don't think we do right by our money, because bosses build. No boss was a boss overnight.
Right.
They have a story and a testimony to tell. Right? No, unless you're like Trump or somebody and you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, that's a whole different testimony.
Different, yeah.
But for somebody who's self-made, who built themselves, they're going to have a testimony. And I just think as a culture, we kind of need it instantly. And when it comes to money and seeing a profit and seeing your money grow, it's like planting a flower. It's like a seed. Anybody who has businesses, anybody who's ever been a boss, anybody who's moved money around, know what I'm talking about. It is not something that comes instantaneously. That's another reason why a lot of the things I'm doing now, I'm doing behind the scenes now, right? Because they need to grow. And I need to see money from it, right?
Right.
And there is so many ways that people can reciprocate a check, right? There's so many ways that people can place their money somewhere and it can grow to be meaningful for them.
Right.
I just think that we gotta stop with the I'm fly. I made another oath. Remember I told you last year I made an oath I wasn't traveling nowhere, and I did it. Now I made another oath. 2 years, I'm not buying not a piece of clothing.
Okay.
For 2 years.
Okay. I have a list right here of some of the things of how you can save money, right? Instead of putting it in a going to Macy's or these stores and putting it in their hands, I have a whole list. How many items is on this list? Let's see. I don't know if I can go. It says 43 legit ways to save money fast. Now, you're not going shopping. You're not going shopping will be a way that you can put up.
That works for me.
Yeah.
Now, in the house, I'll invest in my crib because nowadays that's an investment.
Right, it
Everybody
is.
home should be comfortable. However your comfortability is.
Right. I told you I've been working on a project here for the past 2 weeks, and I'm like, hey, I'm home. Want to make sure everybody's comfortable. I've been running around doing shows and all these different things. I'm like, look, I need to focus on this right now, and then when things open back up, at least I know my home is good, how I want it to, you know? But they definitely got some tips. You want to hear some tips?
Right.
All right, so this is ways that you can trim your budget ASAP if you want to start saving money. It says, number one, that you can cancel subscriptions and memberships that are not essential. You have anything? You know, sometimes you pay for the gym.
My son pays for Netflix. I'm cheap, not cheap.
Yeah, I'm using my daughter's Netflix too. Don't play.
I use my
Don't play.
Netflix.
We don't all need to have it. You know what I'm saying? We don't all need to have it.
On there, she got her own.
Right. I think it's floating around about 5 people. I said if she got to change her password, she better send out a blast email, okay? Because
I'm not the only one.
No, I'm using that. Now, one thing is saying, do you think you can say goodbye to your cable? It's saying say goodbye to your cable and move to a less expensive streaming.
It's too stressful. So let me tell you, I have 2 fire sticks in my house. I be forgetting I even got the damn fire stick. I paid $170 in cable with 2 fire sticks in my house. And people say, why? I say, because when I cut on TV, I don't want to wait for the fire. The fire stick work with no problem.
Right.
Let me cut that goddamn cable off. It'll take 15, 35, 55 minutes to wind. You know, some people, because I know some people how they
streaming will be like forever. It might
now,
not.
mind you, anytime I plug the fire stick up, it come on like nobody business. But I said, let me take the cable off. It'll do me dirt. I can't be in this house without TV. Right. I'm even a TV person, and I can't be in this house without TV.
Okay, then they have the next one is ditch your pricey cell phone plan and switch to a cheaper prepaid option. I can't do that.
So I don't switch to a prepaid option, but this is a tip, you guys, that is like a realistic tip for us. What I do is every year I visit T-Mobile and I see every year they have a new promotion, and so I get a cheaper.
Right.
I do
that. More for your bucks, right? When they increase the budget.
What you do is go to your carriers every year. Just check your carriers, people, and thank me and Debra later, because that's gonna save you money.
I do that
every year.
I do it with Cablevision and I do it with Sprint. What kind of promotions y'all got going on right now?
Every year.
I've been with Cablevision for 20 years. I've been with Sprint for 20 years. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I gotta give me something because Verizon. I've been bringing up people names like they offering something good right now. I need to go. And then they give you a couple of months free. They hook you up when they think you're about to leave. So that's another tip for you. Make sure that you call them and act like you irate and dissatisfied with your service. And they will hook you up with 2, 3 free months. I'm telling you. Okay. And it says, get your insurance policies through the same company so you can get a discounted rate.
I don't think like that. You know why? Because MetLife might give me something different. Then I got $11.99 that was free, but it's powerful. So if you can find a powerful policy, that's how I say it. Go for it. Right. Make sure that your policy, you read them though.
Right, you got to
read that fine, that fine tuning at the bottom.
Another tip, it says set up automatic bill pay to avoid late fees. Do you do that?
No, because I don't like people. I have a problem with people going in my account and taking money out.
Okay, so that may not work. For
but you. It does save you money.
It does, because you don't have any late fees if you get it on time.
It does save you money, but I like, and the funny thing is I pay all my bills online. So, but I like to see.
You like to do it. You don't want somebody else just to automatically go into your account.
And it's really convenient because it's like I'm sitting right here and I just pay my, it doesn't bother me. It's all right.
Right.
Con Ed, Verizon, T-Mobile, Liberty, the Note, everything. Bomb. One-stop shopping, baby.
But you don't like it where they will go in and just take it. You want to be the one.
I used to have it like that automatically, but then it's like I got a lot of bills. Like I have I call a 2-man bill. Like I have bills that 2 people should be busting down, not one.
Okay.
So I have to monitor because that's how I budget.
Right.
So if it works for you, if you don't have too many bills, then I think auto pay, because it will save you money. But it's just like I have so many things per month that come out. I need to make sure that everything is,
Right.
But it's like clockwork for me because I, pay some on one, pay some on the other.
Right. That's how we set up. We get set up like that,
And people, you got to start thinking, because remember, unemployment is about to expire. And landlords are going to take people to court in September. God, I am praying for all of you who just did not handle your business properly and did not pay your bills.
No, I agree. But I do see that they have some type of rent relief program. So if you are having a problem,
I checked to see if I was eligible. I ain't gonna lie.
For real? I didn't even check it, but I did see something online.
It's like, well, for me, Westchester, they said it is 67K for one person.
Oh,
72K for two persons.
Okay.
So it's not, you gotta make, they don't want you making too much. But it's a good program. Even my job sent that email out.
Oh, yeah?
Sent it to me on Facebook. But then when I went, I logged into work, even my job has sent all the employees that email. So anybody is entitled. You could work. I mean, the city workers got that fucking email. So
what is they saying? They'll pay your rent for you, or do they pay
the whole rent?
Okay,
these are the criteria. You have to make a certain amount. Like I said, if you live in Westchester and you one person, you make 67K or less, you're entitled to apply. Okay. The criteria once you apply is you have to have lost your income or lost your job during COVID. You have had to have your rent paid up until March when COVID hit here. They are only going to help with, I think, 1 or 2 months. They don't pay it all. They help with 1 or 2 months. Okay. And you approve, they pay it. There's no, you don't pay it back, none of that.
Oh, wow. I'm not eligible, but that's a great program for those that
I know it wouldn't be, but I had to try.
To apply, because I mean, and
you have to pay rent. So that was another thing. So mine's not rent. It has to be rent. Right.
Okay. They said another good way to save money is to transfer your credit card balances to a new card with 0 interest on the card. So if you want to save money, you can transfer your high interest cards and maybe apply for a 0 interest and transfer everything over with the balance transfer. And that's a good way for you to save money monthly on your credit cards. And it says that you can, the next one says you can save money on your car payment and car insurance costs by selling your car. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to sell our car. So I don't like tip number 13. That's not good for me. But it's saying that it's actually giving some other tips about saving money on food. That you gotta go out to eat, but it doesn't mean that you have to overspend on food. And I don't know about y'all, but I've been overspending, right?
I ain't even going. I'm pleading the fifth.
My food bill is like double what I used to pay.
Because you have to, you know why? Because you don't go out and that money gotta go somewhere, right? That's why I spoke to Smooth, was like, sis, you don't be spending money, you be stashing. I'm like, stash what? My bills are the fucking same. I don't know where y'all getting all this extra money from. Nothing changed, except I work from home. That's it.
Right.
My bills
because you used to have that nice promotive income, too. Like,
baby, and I got a whole shower to fill, a whole COVID shower I need to do. When I tell you I need a promoter's check right now, baby.
Right. I know.
One promoter's check.
One.
For the grandson.
Right.
One time for the grandson.
Right.
Baby, this shower shit ain't no fucking joke.
Look, I done had 2, so I know.
I haven't had a shower. My godson was born, he is 15. That's the baby. So I haven't done a baby shower in 15 years. And when I did it, his father's Odell, Sugar Shack. So I had the shack. It didn't take much. I flew shit in from California straight to the shack. We had people set it up. Happy baby.
That's it.
Now it's like, okay, we doing Central Park. She doesn't want to be outside. She wants to be in AC. I'm like, we're doing it in September. It's not that hot.
Right.
I want to be in the park. I want to be in AC.
Okay.
Central Park is like no generators, no tent. So it threw me off because I had to do something COVID friendly.
Right.
Because I got elderly people that love my son and that are in our family.
Right.
And it's not fair that nobody's going indoor. And I understand that the mother has to be comfortable, but it's like, these are the struggles. So, you have to be really creative.
You do.
I want to find this huge house. a friend of mine is gonna rent his whole huge house with a pool and indoor. His indoor downstairs is like just a big couch and it's so pretty, but he doesn't have a lot of. He's a modern guy, so he doesn't have a lot of furniture. So it works out perfect.
Okay, good.
And he has a bar down there and everything, so the chair and everything can go inside. And you know her friend is gonna get masks, so you gotta wear masks inside. This COVID thing is just crazy.
It changed a lot. It changed a lot. Oh, so like I said, there's a whole bunch of tips on here. Do you think that you're good with budgeting?
I mean, I do it for a living, so I better be.
Right, finance, right. That's your job. That is true. So what tips can you give us in regards to getting that income and budgeting? Because a lot of people don't really know how to budget. Some people are really winging it. They don't know how to put some to the side, or maybe they don't want to. I know adults that cannot budget for shit. Like they go month to month.
I tell people, get an Excel spreadsheet, right? It's your friend. Why I say that? Because you can't budget if you don't do your numbers realistically, right? If your numbers are not realistic, you're not budgeting, right? Like I'm doing my food truck. I have 4 budgets, solid.
Right.
4 budgets. Whether I have to use less expensive product versus me wanting to use higher end product versus me wanting to use the marble steak product.
Right, you might have to go generic in some places where you can't. Right.
So people, I say, if you have a computer and you have Word and all that, you have Excel. People be intimidated by it. When I hire people, you gotta know Excel. Like when I interview people, you gotta know Excel. Why? Because it don't lie on numbers.
Right,
and it's simple. You just plug the number in and it does the math for you. Even if you don't want to. Even if you don't
want free programs too that you
right. Even if you don't want to use Excel, there's 1,000 other free programs that you can use. But get a program and put your top 6 bills. Never mind the other one. Because sometimes people have so many bills, they get frustrated and they be like, I don't want to do this because it's not fun. Because they got to see where their money is going, right? See, me, I like to see that. But for the people that don't want to see it in that sense, take your top 6 bills that you have monthly, write up your top 6 bills, and then treat yourself to 2 things that you're going to enjoy for the month. Whether it's a movie, whether it's doing your hair. Yes, because hair and nails, ladies, is a part of the fucking budget. I tell my friends that all the time.
It is. But you got to put money aside for that.
It's a part of the budget.
Unless you can do your own hair and your own nails. But otherwise, you're going out and you're tipping people and you got to buy hair and you got to, that's a whole situation. Right. That's a whole other situation. Anything that's not an essential necessity is definitely something that if you're spending it regularly, like every month, hair, nails, or every 2 weeks, or every you need to add that into your budget, especially when you're trying to come up with a number to how much you can save a month. If you have a goal.
And we're talking about doing right by our money, right? So doing right by your money is about growing. And you cannot grow if you're doing the same repetitious thing every month and you're not doing anything more than that same repetitious thing every month. Yes, your check is the same repetitious check, but you should be able to do different things with that repetitious money. But if you're not budgeting...
No, if you're not budgeting, then I don't know, unless you're just living for yourself, I don't really know. But I do believe if I'm working hard, I believe in paying myself first. I pay me first. I'm the first bill.
Budget?
I'm the first bill that I pay. I make sure that I put something to the side for me. This is my time. This is my effort. So something goes in the pool for me. Whether I decide to use it right away, whether I have a goal like vacation or remodeling or whatever, a goal that I'm working towards, that money goes to me first. I pay me first before I pay anybody. But I do have a budget. I do. I try to budget my money wisely. But first, I give to me. I make sure that I have a certain portion goes towards my children's education. I have certain money that I have to put to the side for my grandkids. I have, I'm just lucky to have some extra to kind of spread around and stuff. But I do have a pool for me. I have a house fund. I know that I have some things that I want to do, and I have a budget for that. So when I look for painters, when I look for carpenters or people to come and build things or do things, this is my budget. Can you meet this? What can I get for this? And if it's worth it, I go outside of that. If I see the vision is something that I want, but otherwise I try to stay within my budget. Soon I'll be car shopping. So I'll be thinking about this is what I have. What can I get for this, But number one, I invest in timeshares. I'm big on spreading my money around. I'm big. I pay for my own business. I reinvest here with what we're doing here, spreading knowledge. So I believe that you have to sprinkle a little bit here and there to reap some proceeds from that. But I don't have a problem with it. I have money I can risk and gamble. I have money that this is it. This is locked.
Right.
But you got to look at your full financial picture. I remember one time I was a Primerica financial advisor for like 2 days, right? But they give you a kit, and the first thing you do when you sit down with somebody, you say, "What are your goals? What are your financial goals?" Or if it's a married couple, they might say, "Oh, we want to buy our first home," right? If it's a single person, you might say, "Well, I want to travel." Everybody has their own individual goals. So you have to figure out what that is. What's your goal? Find out what's a reasonable amount to obtain that goal, and figure out what you can spare to reach that goal. Or how do you, and we talked about our vision boards before, right? We had things that we wanted.
Have them.
Right. So you could do something like a vision board, lay it all out so you can see it visually.
Or you can write it out.
Right. And then you work on the steps to get that. Like for me, what do I want? Like I already obtained one thing. I wanted to remodel my place and change it up and renovate it. So that I'm in the middle of that. But I already took a couple of weeks before that to start putting money aside for that. So once the ball starts rolling and we into it, okay, now I done added 3 more things to the project that wasn't even anticipated. But it's something that I want, right? So now I'm revamping my budget again to be able to incorporate what I want for my comfortability, So, just happy to the fact that I'm able to do what I need to do, but it's still a process. You still got to work it out. I'm making sure I keep every receipt, right? Because when you own something, you can write that's a tax write-off, right?
Yes,
So there's things.
Not much, but sure.
Yeah. It's a tax write-off, so every can of paint I buy, whatever I buy from Home Depot, whatever, I have a nice little folder, right? Keeping all my receipts, so when it's tax time, look, this is home improvement. You know what I'm saying? I'm writing all this stuff off.
And so that's another tip for people too, right? Because I'm sure that people don't really know that there's so many things that you can get tax write-offs for. And you could go on to New York City, NewYorkState.gov, and they will give you a listing on that website of all the things that you can claim on your taxes. A lot of people don't utilize that. I mean, they think of just child care, and it's like it's more things than just child care.
Even if you're a student,
right?
And you're an adult, you can write off, in some cases, transportation. You can write off the books.
Or you have an elderly parent that you might be taking care of.
Right, that too. There are a lot of ways, and we have to get smart about our money, like you said earlier, because we're not benefiting because we don't know. Right? We don't know.
My thing is really putting it back black on black. How do we get to a point where we supporting black on black? To me, that's the biggest hurdle, right? Because if I'm a black woman and I have a business and I invest in my business and my people are not supporting me, it's that much harder because the others ain't supporting me. That's damn for sure. So the reason how the others win, to me, is because they have the cycle where people put in and they put in and it becomes the wheel.
The wheel turns, right.
Black on black, and how do we get past the hurdle? Because we just don't want to support one another. And it's not a Sunday or a Friday or a Tuesday. It's a way of living. I'm going to buy my cake from Pete's because they're black owned. I'm going to get my cake from Doc's because they black owned. Never mind that I got to drive to Brooklyn. Never mind that I got to drive to Long Island.
Right.
This is about a lifestyle.
I agree. I mean, I must say, for like 2 weeks ago, Juneteenth and all that stuff was coming up in the mindset. And I'm like, you know what? I reached out to about maybe 5 or 6 people that I know, Black-owned businesses that people that I always wanted to support, and I supported. I ordered. I even drove to them, like transportation situation. I made the extra effort to support. I was doing Just Give Me the Mic for years. All I need for you to do is log on.
Let me ask you, right? Because I was going to say, it's a reciprocation, right? Because what I was going to ask you was, one, was the products worth the money?
Yeah.
And 2, do they support in return?
I would say less than half support. Less than half. See, I have an issue with, doing this interview thing for so long, right? I have an issue with all the artists that I interviewed and all the business owners and all the people. I feel they come on, they tell their story, and they're very excited. So I'm like, well, what happens to the next show? Do you tune in and support the next guest that's on the show? Because it's like somebody may not know who you are, right? They're tuning in to listen to your story. Are you doing that for others? Or are you just showing up, performing, getting your interview, and then bouncing, not even supporting the outlet that you went to get the support, to be able to voice your opinions and stuff like that? I just feel like society has really gotten very selfish, right? That's why we can't walk to the corner store and see images of ourselves standing there. There's always another nationality, right? I put up a post saying I could be selling something, all my people will ask for discounts, but they'll see the same product by somebody else they don't know, and they'll pay full price for it. Same thing with no problem. Why is that, right? So we just got to get out of that. We got to learn to support. There's costs to run these businesses.
I don't know how we do, though. You know why? Because, I wish I could stay and believe this, but I don't, which is that love should overconquer hate, but really hate overconquers love. And, crabs in a barrel. And brothers and sisters who don't want to see other brothers and sisters do well. For me, I'm one of the few that when I get hated on, it works better for me. Like,
it motivates me,
Right. It does something better for me. In a sense. But everybody does not channel that energy as such, right? And I just feel like we have to be conscious that we have to support each other. And it can't be me just supporting you and you not supporting me. And I give a prime example. When I first, I've been in the party scene forever. I was born in the party scene, right? When I came back with my brother Stick and Move, and I came back at the party scene. For 2 years, me and those brothers went 2 years. Me and those brothers went to every single party, every fucking weekend. We post people fly. I wasn't doing parties at that time. I had just came back in the scene from being an industry head. So this is a whole new scene for me.
Right.
I'm partying, but this ain't the party scene I'm used to.
Right.
So now they bringing me back out, and I'm under their wing. I know the LAs and I know people, but I'm back out in a different element.
Right.
2 years, I brought outfits every fucking weekend because Rema, nobody can say they saw Rema in the same shit twice.
Right.
I'm not bragging. That's just who I am.
That's how it is when you out there and you making you getting noticed.
OBX don't go nowhere if he ain't buying no bottles.
Right.
If he telling me a dog's good, Boo's like, fuck that. That's what we do.
Right.
So we in your spot, we buying bottles, we taking pictures, we posting your shit. I never asked not one promoter can I get in a spot free. 2 years.
Wow.
Not one.
Wow.
Every weekend, every fucking weekend.
Right. You paying.
And
you paying at the door. You paying for bottles.
I had the nerve to be asked, oh Rema, I come to your shit all the time. You never come out to mine. Are you dumb? Who the fuck was I going to on OZ? Because OZ wasn't my thing. I go there for people.
Right.
You see me on OZ, I'm there for somebody.
The support, right.
Like, so what, my 2 years don't count now? Because you supported me once?
Right. That's how it is. That's how it is.
You just gotta be conscious.
Short memory spans. Short. You blink and it's over. They don't remember none of that. None of that. I used to get people who want to come on the show for promotions. They want this, they want that. It's like I have a staff of people. So you don't want to pay nothing. You want free interview. You want me to promote it. You want me to put it on TV. You want me to circulate it on social media and use my time, my energy, ask other people to give up their time and their energy. And I should give you a discount because we peoples. I don't get it. So that kind of led me into the acting realm because I'm like, I got to start doing things for me. I still want to give back. I still want to highlight. I still want to do shows like how we doing. But then again, I find the industry could be so selfish.
Me too.
It could be so selfish.
I definitely don't know when outside ever opens back up if I'll be a promoter again. I've been a promoter since LQ days, right? I've been a promoter in Red Parrot. I've been a promoter in the door.
Right.
I've been a promoter in the tunnel. I've been a promoter in Palladium. I've been a promoter in Nameless.
Right. You got a whole list. Right.
Garage. I'm saying all that to say is like New York, and I'm still New York because I work still for the state of New York. You understand?
Right.
New York is in my DNA. It's in my blood, and I've been blessed enough to have done New York parties at such a high level element.
Right, you did.
But now I look at it and I might say, you know what? Maybe it's time to take a bow. I'm not sure because, again, I've been a promoter for so long because I like to see the look on people's faces when they're having a good time. I like to keep that momentum of a sexy party going. Everything don't have to be hoodie and fucking ratchet.
Right.
So, I'm one of the few people that still honor grown and sexy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need that in our culture.
Boy,
and a lot of people don't honor it because there's not a lot of money in it.
Right.
Shout out to my nigga loser Isaiah. Quality over quantity.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know where the next outside phase leads me, right? The phase may lead me. Because I'm a multitasker. I could do the food truck, I could do promotions, I could do my day job, and still be a fucking grandmother with my eyes closed. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can always hustle. It's just the love of it. I see what they doing now with these curbside parties, and I'm just like, is that where we're going now? Because you're taking it back outside with that. In Harlem, where I wake up every fucking Monday, and they shooting on the weekend. Anybody listening from Harlem, what the fuck is going on with Harlem right now? I don't know. Like, they went from gentrification to like genocide. It's crazy.
Right. The videos I've been seeing online, but just all over. Just all over. It's just crazy. I don't know if they're trying to scare us and make us stay in the house. I don't know what it is, but the images that I'm seeing on the news with all these random
How they
acts
scaring
of
us? I
violence.
said, how they scaring us? They shooting people in broad daylight. That ain't them. That's us. I seen a motherfucker pull out his gun, man, walking his daughter across the damn street.
Right.
I saw yesterday somebody sent me a video of somebody smoking hookah and drinking curbside, and the nigga came up on them and blasted his fucking brains out while he was sitting there eating with his girl, smoking hookah. Blast him his whole brains out. So I'm just like, yo, like.
That's what I was about to tell you. I felt paranoid, actually. When I went to eat curbside, I don't even want to say where I was at. It was a good restaurant. But it was some dangerous looking people outside. I'm like, I'm not even comfortable eating my meal right now. I feel like I got to watch.
And they have a meme about that.
You know?
They have a meme about that. Like, yo, I'm eating $40 meals under the train station. So, you know.
Right. I'd rather that than where I was at, okay? And like I said, it was a good restaurant, good name. Just the neighborhood is just like, I can't eat like this.
And speaking of another restaurant, there's another restaurant that everybody, every weekend, is always on my timeline, right? This particular restaurant in Manhattan, I don't want to name it. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. I have a problem with it because I feel like it's too hot. Every weekend is on my timeline. That means a lot of people going there. So it's not even about the restaurant being clean. It's about the traffic fucking being clean. Right? So people are like, why are you not going there? And it's like, because it's too much traffic for me. Like, I just can't. I think logically, right? So it's not only about the person cooking your food. It's about the person who sat in the seat before you and making sure that they wipe every inch of the table down. And when you got something that's such a high volume, I'm sorry, I don't believe that y'all covering everything.
Right.
Because your volume is so fucking high. I'm not trying to be seen. This is no pre-quarantine.
Right.
I ain't trying to be seen. I'm not, like I told my people, I cannot be, my impress button is deleted.
Right. That's out the window right now.
Impressing me about I'm living. That's it. I'm impressed because I'm fucking breathing.
I agree. A lot of these things you find out it's just not worth it. It's just not on the top of my scale right now. I'll get to that if I ever get to that.
What is on the top of my scale right now was making sure that I put money where it needs to go in case this shit get real out here. Cause we like this.
You have to invest in something. It's really going to be hard to triple, double your money if you don't find some type of investment. Even putting your money in the bank into a savings plan, what you get when you go to banks, 2%?
Right.
You'll stay broke with that. You have an extra $30 at the end of the year or something, like you will never get ahead with that. You got to find either a business where you could get your side hustle on and make your money. I don't know. You got to come up with some type of plan. I had just recently just give me the mic, LLC. You got to incorporate your businesses, whatever it is. Incorporate it, make some income, report your income, file some taxes, get it recognized by the state and the government, you know. Start small. Go to Fidelity. Go to Vanguard. Go to Merrill Lynch. Go to these small companies. Find out.
What do they do, Debra? What do they do?
I'm saying they're investment companies. They have different.
No, I'm just saying because our viewers may not.
They have different kind of fund packages. You have some for those, like say if you're young and you have like 30 years to invest, you would invest in something that's safer probably. No, you will be a little bit more riskier because you have a long way to go. You can lose some, gain some, but your rewards, your payout will be a lot higher. If you're closer to retirement age, you don't want to take that much of a risk, right? You want to invest where it's wise and safe. You want to invest where it's safe because you can't afford to take that many losses. So if you're under 20 years, under 10 years, you go for the safest bonds with the ones that have the least amount of money that you can lose a year based on the stock market, the ups and the downs of the stock market. That's what you have to look for. So again, if you are close to retirement age, you find some safe bonds. When you go to a company and say that you want to invest, you have them send you a history report, a statistical data report that shows you how this fund was doing for the past 5 years or 10 years, or most of them go back about at least 10 years. They don't usually give you
They gotta show you
that.
financial statements.
Right, you have to see the financial statements. But I'm gonna tell you this: you cannot always base your investment on a company being good previous years because things
Bernie Madoff.
Right.
They
things
can do
can
it.
change.
They could cover themselves, people.
Right. Right. But you know what?
I know a few people who got knocked off from Bernie. They
Right.
thought it was rich white people. No, it was not only rich white people. I know a few black people who lost money from Bernie. So,
Right.
you know,
It may not be as many.
people.
Right. It may not be as many, but there are a lot of people like
there are.
Right.
I mean, listen, money is money. Colored money is colored money. And at the end of the day, it's like, we don't pull each other up together. So if we're going to do it individually, we got to do it correctly because we're only strong in numbers. But, you know, black folks, when it comes to finances, that just don't fucking go together. Like, you could try and then, you know, somebody will do, you know, it's like, when you mention finances and colored people, I don't know how we get past that hump. That's why this is a conversation that I feel is important for us to start having. There will not be an answer. There's no, like, solution to black people when it comes to money. And this is because we never had it.
Right.
We don't know. We never had it. We just now getting financial smart.
I mean, I was fortunate enough to be around some real, standing next to these guys on the trading floor was no joke. That's because when I came out and I started going to these, like, you know, being around these rappers, I'm like, y'all got money, but I was around real money.
Right.
Real money.
Right.
Standing next to Jesse Jackson, standing with Bill Clinton, you know, Maya Angelou, like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm 20-something years old. I couldn't come back and relate what I was doing in where I lived. Nobody understood. I didn't even understand the stock market before I landed in it. We didn't learn about economics. We learned we had a little cooking class.
I was an adult.
But it was nowhere near the real world, like to be in money and to understand that.
And I took the class by default. It wasn't a class I actually wanted to even take. The class I wanted did not pan out for me. And then this woman, she wanted to become my mentor. Black lady who probably knows finance better than half the Caucasian men that run these big top companies. She's low with her money. She moves her money, like, she has so many different things. But you will see her and not see any of it. But she will never have to worry about a dollar.
Right. I've been around billionaires that I watched 12 months straight wear the same sneakers. They ain't got nobody to impress. They ain't on social media popping bottles and wearing gold chains and trying to buy. They not doing none of that. None of that.
We buy Jordans and seafood. That's what we love. Jordans.
None of that. They not doing none of that. You wouldn't even know they have money. That's what the real money is.
What are some of the things that people can do to one of the things that I think that people can do is invest in a laundromat. A laundromat is not a bad investment. It's low end cost of maintenance. You got money coming in every single day of the week. And all you got to do is keep your machines maintained and running. And you basically got a freelance income well coming in.
It's just hard to get. The zoning, property.
We all know.
The city is already designed not to let us own too much, property-wise.
But I do think that will change.
I'm not saying it's not going to change, but I'm saying the cost, just imagine, just to get an apartment right now, out the roof, right? You go to buy a studio, it's $1,600. Imagine buying a lot today. Imagine that. I'm not saying it can't happen.
But if we don't, our children and our children's children and our children, if we do not figure out a way to close this economic gap that we are in a huge economic gap. And if we don't figure out a way to close it, it's going to be generations on top of generations that are going to be affected by it. And Lynette just said something that's important. She said the young generation, they need to go at it more aggressively. And I agree on everything, though, not just bonds and stocks and investments.
Those are safe investments. When you talk about REITs, look into REITs. For y'all that don't know about REITs, REITs, which is property, bonds, investing in land, investing in property. Those is very aggressive stocks, but you make a lot of money with REITs. When I left the stock market, REITs was at the top, and REITs is still at the top. So if you get your hands on somebody looking to sit down with a financial advisor and look into some REITs, that's where
For me right now, where it's at, and again, I'm learning from my dude, is just real estate. Right, I'm trying to buy two. I'm looking at 2 properties in Brooklyn. I'm probably gonna take all that I have, but I'm definitely about to be a landlord to somebody.
Right, that's my goal. Talking about that vision board, I need to buy another piece of property this year.
See, he's done that already, and he's doing that already. So I learned it from him, but I also, the area of finance that I'm working in for the city right now is that lane. So it's like I'm learning the city aspect of the licenses and the permits and the budget.
Zoning laws and all that stuff.
Right. And the regulations. Right. I'm learning all that. So we talked about it, like with his financial knowledge and his previous knowledge, he owned 4 buildings and he still owns 3. So with that knowledge and then what I'm learning, we possibly could do something that would be for the community, number 1, be profitable for everybody, number 2, but doing it in a way that is professional and in the lines that it needs to be in.
You can even start off with buying foreclosed homes.
Yeah.
Fix them up. Rent them. Yeah, there's a few different avenues.
There's this home that I'm talking with this lady in Brooklyn. It's a beautiful brownstone. It's right off Flatbush Avenue, and she's looking to sell. And you have to put your, we bidding. People are bidding, and she's a really nice lady, and she didn't know I was black. I didn't know how to take that. I don't know what she is, if she's Indian or Native or she's something of that sort. I didn't want to ask. But I was taken back a little bit that she said she didn't know I was African American. That was the term she used. Mm-hmm. And I was like, in my head, like, does that really matter?
Money is green. Your money, my money, it's all green.
It just rubbed me weirdly that she was like, oh, I didn't know you was African American. Said it. And
yeah,
it wasn't a racist. It didn't, she wasn't, being derogatory. But it just still takes you back a little bit when people say shit like that.
Yeah. And
because we sensitive now to what's going on.
Right.
But so yeah, what would be some of your things that you would be think that's good investments, Deb?
I mean, I actually went and looked at a house on Pelham Parkway. The guy came outside, took us inside, and had 4 bedrooms, finished basement, backyard, another little, what you call it? I can't say garage. It had like another shed outside that you can use for storage. Beautiful patio deck. And I just, I'm a girl, I like porches, right? I like to have a nice porch, little wind chime, a little vegetable patch. Like, that's me. So he just totally killed my whole bubble And I was like, well, how much does this house go for? And he was like $625,000. So you have to put down like 10 to 12%. So I'm like, I gotta give you like $75,000 to get this. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So I'm like, I'm trying to teach my kids, like maybe if you want to get a house and you don't have all the upfront money, purchase a house rent to own, or you know that you're paying rent, but you know it's also going towards your option to
that
buy
was my first
the house.
purchase. The first purchase that I purchased in New Jersey was rent to own.
Right. See, so I'm thinking about if I could talk one of my kids into getting one of those type properties, let them get it. If they like it, the stable, the neighborhood's good, then we go and we try to pitch to get it, to own it, Because a lot of neighborhoods you may not be familiar with. And they have a lot of new developments in different areas. So I like to wait and see how it grows and see.
I was going to say, how do you feel about the new developments? Because again, we're talking about economic wealth, right? And I feel like a lot of these new developments is booby traps.
Right.
It's like, give the nigga something, but it ain't worth the intangible. Because these new developments, when you move out, do you really think a Caucasian or somebody's going to want to buy? Like that's how I look at it. A brownstone in Harlem, when I move out, somebody wants that.
Right.
These little rinky things that they throwing up here right now, nobody wants that when you going. Like, it's not, it's almost like...
That's a whole nother 2-hour show right there. That's
it's like they just put things there in a community for us to bait. Right. But it's not helping us financially or economically or longevity in our communities. It's not helping us.
It's like the pros and the cons, because a lot of these new developments are associated with all of these programs, right? Low income programs, because otherwise there's a lot of people that are not making those income brackets. You have some establishments that want you to make 8 times your income. I mean, whatever it is to move in. I've seen some of these housing developments look for, you have to make 8 times whatever the money is to be able to move in. I know teachers, people that's making 6 figures, they cannot find a place to live because the places that they want to go, they're not making enough. Like, it's this market for housing is ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. If you are making $40,000, you can qualify, and that would be a pretty good income back in the day for one person. You get another couple, y'all together, y'all making about 80-something thousand. But right now, a lot of times we don't have a mate to go into.
People at 80K, kill yourself.
I'm just saying worst. I can't even say worst case because I'm not trying to offend nobody. But I'm just saying, young people.
No, it's hard. It's not to offend the person that's making the 80K. It's to offend the fucking America and the government that's giving 2 grown people with a household 80 fucking K.
Right.
Who the fuck can live off 80K to adults?
Right. Right.
You can live off 80K.
Look, think about it. If you in your 20s, you making $21, $22 an hour. Your mate's making.
And you ain't got not a responsibility. Mind you ain't got not a responsibility. You probably only got a cell phone.
You better hope not. You better hope not. You better hope you ain't have a child before you got to that point.
That's true. That's true.
But, nowadays, I don't know. I had a couple of teenagers walking around my school pregnant. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, if you think about the minimum wage, before they raised it to, $15 an hour, and you trying to find housing. You can't. Without these rent-stabilized buildings, you cannot. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. I'm seeing 1 bedroom. I'm seeing studios for $1,500, $1,600, $1,800. Studios where you just got 1 big room and a kitchen and a bathroom. It's ridiculous.
When you say it on that scope, it's so ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. People cannot afford. I see more young people moving to New Jersey now. Because Jersey City and a lot of those other close places to New York have decent rent. You can find you a studio for $1,000.
You can find some nice shit in Jersey, man.
Right. But now they got to move out to Jersey to do that.
I wish that Jersey agreed with me. because it didn't agree with me. But they have, I mean, you get a really better bang for your buck on that
You
side
do.
of town.
You do. You really do.
1,600, you getting the outdoor. You might, for
Right.
1,600 a month, you getting something that you could go outside. That's yours.
A roof patio where you can do barbecues on the roof. Right, it's something extra. Laundry room, and you might even get a dishwasher and a dryer. You might even get that. Here,
and mind you, all the fucking places, state-of-the-art appliances. I just was looking, and before I found what I moved into in Jersey, I had to look. And every place the realtor took me to, even Chinatown, because when you get the T-neck now where Big used to live, that used to be a predominantly black neighborhood when Big got what, 97?
Yeah, somewhere now.
97, it was still predominantly kind of black. Now it's all Chinese. You can't even find a black person. In fact, some of the co-op buildings that I went to go look when I had to wait for my realtor, the Chinese people look at me like, bitch, where you're going? You're not getting in this building.
Wow.
Like, they different when in T-neck. They're a little different. But it's still a nice area if you want to just get right over the bridge and you don't want to go far in Jersey. And you still get, and that's a predominantly 16K to 3K type of living area.
Right.
That's how much they're paying probably per month, whether it's maintenance or rent.
Right.
It's not cheap maintenance over there either. It's just expensive over there. The taxes is different. But it just doesn't. It's just, even though you get another, again, we're talking about better, doing better with our money. I just feel like it's no money that could compare to New York. Like, I just missed home, and me not having a zip code of New York just was like, I can't do this. Not for everybody, and I have a lot of friends that move to New Jersey, and they do bigger and better things. So I'm not knocking it, but you gotta do what is best for your lane.
Right.
Whatever you do with your money, whatever you're trying to invest your money in to better yourself and your life, it still has to be something that is in your heart. Otherwise, to me, it doesn't work out. And that's just, an opinion I have, but I believe it to be true.
I believe it too. And I think we should, going back to the point that you made before, that we just really got to get over the biases and the hate and really start investing more in people within our communities as well as ourselves. It's hard to have your own business. It's hard to start it up. It's hard to get people to support. It's hard to keep it running. It's hard to keep it going. In order for us to create our own, just realize that we need, or they need, people to support, to put some funds, whether it's sharing a post, whether it's sharing a good word about a company. Doesn't always have to be financial if you don't have it. But when you have it, try to give back. That's how the world works. That's how it works. Like share a little, you get back. Not saying you do that to get back, but it's just like, come on, y'all. We are never going to grow. We're never going to keep encouraging the creative minds that we have within our community if we don't support. I know artists that they don't want to sing and rap no more. They don't feel the support. I know people that have startup businesses that go hard. People don't realize when you start a business within the first 0 to 5 years, you normally don't even see money back on your investment. It usually takes that 5th year for you to start bringing money in. But for some people, that's all they got. They don't have nothing else to fall back on.
In the Instagram world nowadays, people want to return around though immediately. It has to be like an instant thing. Like people don't grow anymore. And I feel like that is such an important element to us being in Corona and stuck in non-humbleness. It's like none of us was humble. We all was kind of like demand and conquer or privilege.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we all wore this privilege on us. And it's like, you're not fucking privileged. You're not better than anybody. And you don't deserve anything. And who are you to even say your privilege. So I think that Corona kind of was like, okay, we're gonna take a step back.
Right. Right. Well, we down to the last couple of minutes. So what is some final words that you want to get out of today's show to leave that message?
Use this, right? So this is really for the parents who got kids at home, and just start having these conversations with your kids. This show was really just about opening up that conversation and opening up that dialogue about colored people and our money and the economic wealth that we don't have, and that we need to start thinking about for the future of our kids.
Right.
The key to slavery is to have freedom, right? If you don't have freedom, then you're still a slave. And to me, a key to being really free is to not have the economic strain that we have nowadays.
Right.
We are not born with the same equal as a Caucasian is born. We are not. We don't come in the world like this. Because of this, we come in like this.
Right. That's why even more so we should be conscious of what we do.
Exactly. So again, with the last minutes winding down, I can't stress so much on getting chills about how I raised my son, the conversations I've had with my son, and the conversations that I had with him at 5 that stick with him at 31.
Right.
And him being such a good businessman as far as his money because of those tools I gave him.
Right.
And so I feel like we all are, it's a duty to the whole society of colored people to start educating our kids and building our kids to be better than we were with money. We gotta stop teaching them the gram and Islam and it's lit and it's icy. We gotta stop that shit.
Right.
So I'm gonna take responsibility for Kareem.
Right.
And I'm gonna not stop for 2 years because I'm gonna take that money back and do something else with it. Right. I don't need a fucking pair of socks. I'm not going in those stores. No more online, no more none of that when it comes to clothing.
Right.
I'm gonna make it work what I got. And maybe we all should do that. Figure out one thing that you could change in your life
that you could do without. Right. And look at that bigger picture.
Do it for 6 months. I started off 6 months, and last year I did the traveling for a year. Now I'm at a 2-year mark with clothing.
Right.
Who knows what happens after that?
Right. And take note of how much you save. Look at what you used to spend before versus how much you save now.
You don't want to do that, Dad.
Imagine if you go out every week. You had people. I seen adults in clubs 3-4 times a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wacky Wednesday. All them drinks you done brought, all them bottles, all the food you done spent out in these clubs. Think about how much money you done saved. Crazy. Amazing. And I hope you're putting that money up.
This is the thing, right? Because I'm trying to invest in different things now. It's time to get the money rolling.
Right.
So I need the whole so that when I go into business, I'm talking business.
Right.
Don't talk $2.
Right.
Talk change.
Right.
So I'm building now so that when I'm ready, real bosses walk in with a plan. It's not about what you doing and who you make moving. No, you walk in with a plan.
It's not no fly by night. Right. You sign contracts. You got to be able to read and understand what's in these contracts.
And have the money.
Right. Have the money. Have the money and the mindset. Okay? The money and the mindset to be able to handle it. But all I'm saying is if you don't know about finance, there's plenty of online resources. Go online.
So many free.
Find investment for dummies. I mean, not saying that anybody's a dummy. That's just a website where they have it in plain language and they specify and they explain to you what everything is for those that are fresh into the lane and don't know much about the terminology, that's a great place to start. They have RBC Wealth Management, Ameritrade. They got stock market tips for beginners with guide to options. And there's another site that I saw, I think it's Dave Ramsey, if I'm not mistaken. If you're not good with budgeting your money, there's a free online site where you go in, and when the first thing you see when you go in, because I actually signed up tonight. If you're not good, what it asks you is any financial planner would ask you, what is your goal? Do you want to buy a home? Do you want to travel? Do you want to save? Do you want to, whatever, asks you. So you click on whichever option fits you. Then the next thing is, what was the next question? Are you married? Are you single? It asks you your status to know that if two people are saving or if it's just one person saving.
Because that's a big difference, baby.
Big difference. And if you have children and if you don't have children, because you, of course, you're going to have an expenses as a mother that you wouldn't have if you were single. So you have a little bit more money to play with sometimes when you're single. So you go to that phase, and then it takes you to your next option of questions. It asks you what your take-home pay is. It asks you what are your expenses for each month. And you get to see it.
Most people can't answer that question.
Right. You get to see it in black and white.
You gotta know what your monthly expenses are. You should be able to know that, like you know what your check is.
Right. We're not talking about just the gross. What is your net pay? That's the real money
you need to know
that you
your
get.
Real check, what you really bring home.
That net pay.
And you need to know what your real bills are. Not you going to pop bottles. We talk about your life, your shelter. Start doing the math. Your laundry, your detergent, your groceries.
Right. All those things.
If you go to the laundry every other week,
your Metro card.
Every other week, that is a budget.
All of that goes in the pot. But if you sign up, there are a lot of sites online that'll teach you how to budget. It'll go by your income. It'll deduct so you can visually see what's being deducted and then what you're left with. And then you can determine, okay, I can spare $25 a week to help me reach my goal. Then they'll take that $25 and they'll let you see if your goal is to have $5,000 to do whatever it is that you want to do. It'll show you just how long it's going to take you based on the money that you decide that you can spare a month. It'll show you in real numbers how long it'll take you to reach that goal. So utilize these agents online. Utilize these free resources that can help you if you're not good with budgeting. If you're looking for tips on how you can cut back and save, there's a lot of sites on here that'll show you what you can cut back. Like we mentioned, you can use generic products instead of the real. You can not maybe eat out once a week instead of 4. There's a lot of things that you can do to save money. And we out of time, Rema.
Yes, we are.
We out of time.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another great debate show. We hope we helped you somewhat financially. I'm sure that we at least drew some questions up. And if we did that, then I think, Debra, we did a good job.
I think so too. So if you like the video, please share it tonight. We're trying to spread some knowledge. Yes. We're trying to help us come out of this COVID-19 strong, as strong people. And with our head on right.
Spread love.
And spread love, man. We just trying to, knowledge is love. When somebody's sitting down and trying to share something that we don't benefit from it, this is for you to benefit. This is Friday night. You could be out, we could be out, we could be all doing our own thing. But we decided to make the decision to sit here and try to talk and converse about some things that can help us as a whole.
And that's what the Great Debate Show is all about. Real conversation, real topic, raw interviews. We are never going to change that. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I am Rema.
And I'm Debra Coco. Y'all see y'all in 2 weeks.
Guys. See y'all 2 weeks.
Good night.
Good night.
What is all this?